Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about the Hindu Marriage Act. The first part of the Hindu Marriage Act deals with the title and the extent. It applies to all Hindus, which we have already discussed under the topic who is the Hindu. It There are certain definitions which are there in this act, like custom, usage, which signify what we have defined, what we have understood from the concept of custom, which we have seen under the sources of Hindu law. um, there are three types of actually blood relationships: full blood relationship, half blood relationship, and uterine blood relationship. This relationship has to be taken into consideration with reference to the degrees of prohibited relationship between the parties. So full blood relationship means those people whose both parents are the same. Half blood relationship is when the father is same but the mother is different. So step brothers and sisters who have the same father will be a half blood relationship, whereas uterine blood relationship is when the mother is the same but fathers are different. There is another concept of sapinda relationship, which means all the people who are in the lineage of 3 degrees of ascent from the mother's side and 5 degrees of ascent from the father's side. So from the mother's father and mother's grandfather and their children will be the sapindas of a person, and the same will apply to father's side: father's father, father's grandfather, father's grandfather's father, and father's grandfather's grandfather. These will be the 5 degrees from the father's side, and all the brothers and sisters and the children of everyone lying between these 5 degrees will be the sapindas of that particular person. Two persons are said to be similar sapindas of each other if one is the lineal ascendant to the other within the limits of sapinda relationship, or if they have a common lineal ascendant who is within the limits of sapinda relationship with reference to each one of them. The degrees of prohibited relationship is another category which we have to see. Two persons are said to be in degrees of prohibited relationship if one is the lineal ascendant or desire of the other, if one was the wife or husband of a lineal ascendant of the other, then if one was a wife of the brother or of the father's or mother's brother or of the grandfather's or grandmother's brother to the other, and if the two are brother and sister, uncle and niece, aunt and nephew, or children of brother and sister, or two brothers or two sisters. Here we need to understand that there are certain exceptions also to the degrees of prohibited relationship, but that we will see when we are studying the provisions relating to valid marriage. The next definition is with reference to legitimate and illegitimate relationship also. We come to section 5, which is the most important section, which will tell us who can marry whom under Hindu law. So, a marriage may be solemnized between two Hindus if the following conditions are fulfilled. First, neither party has a spouse living at the time of marriage. That means both the parties should be single. Single here can mean a bachelor or a spinster, a divorcee, or even a widow or widower. Secondly, at the time of marriage, neither party should be mentally incapacitated. Thirdly, the bridegroom has completed the age of 21 years and the bride has completed the age of 18 years at the time of marriage. Fourthly, the parties who are not within the degrees of prohibited relationship, unless the custom or a usage governing each of them permits of a marriage between the two. Here we need to understand degrees of prohibited relationship or even sapindas, which is the subsection 5 of section 5, which says that the parties are not sapindas of each other unless the custom or usage governing each of them permits the marriage between the two. here we should understand that the people who are sapindas and within the prohibited degrees of relationship are overlapping each other, but then sapinda relationship is relatively a smaller terminology, but prohibited degrees of relationship is a larger terminology. So basically, in simple words, what we need to say is that people who are within that sphere are not eligible to marry each other. These are the five conditions of a valid marriage. Of course, the first precondition is that there should the people parties should be Hindus. Then what are the ceremonies? So there is no specified ceremony under the Hindu law which is said to be the genuine most important ceremony as such. Subsection 2 says that where the rites include Saptapadi as a ceremony, then the taking of the seventh step is treated as completion of marriage. Because India is such a diverse country with so many communities having so many ways of rites and rituals, one specific ceremony could not have been finalized. However, in maximum areas, Saptapadi or something in something similar to Saptapadi is generally followed, and that is why this provision has been inserted. However, even if a person has not conducted any ceremonies, their marriage can stand valid if they register their marriage for the same purpose. So, Section 8 speaks about registration of marriage. There has to be a state wise creation of the body for registration of marriages, and every state has every district where such registrars of people who are having the Hindu marriage register are created. We will continue the next topic in the next session. Thank you very much.